I wanted to have you on for a variety of reasons, but I also saw where you had a comment about Duke and Grayson Allen that caught my interest. If you'll allow me, I wanted to read the quote here and then let you
Go ahead.
follow up. I think it's fine for an opposing fan base to choose a player to root against, or maybe you dislike certain guys. My issue, though, is I think the media has perpetuated this white Duke villain myth as much as anyone. Grayson is one of the nicest guys I've ever met. John Shire, one of the nicest guys I've ever met. Never seen John Shire do anything dirty. Greg Paulus, one of the nicest guys I've ever met. And you know me, too. I probably, in a way, brought on some of the animosity towards me with the antics, the smiling, the head bobbing, trash talking. But to be honest with you, it was more in reaction to the hate that was already coming my way before I ever really did anything to warrant it. What made you? It felt like you had this there for a while. Had been building up in there.
Not necessarily. You know, it's something that I get asked about a lot, and there was an article written about Grayson recently from a national publication, and I participated in the interview, and so that's kind of where this came from. And Dana O'Neill wrote the article, and the article was very fair. It wasn't like anti-Duke or Grayson bashing or anything. And my response and kind of what I said on my podcast was not directly related toward her. Her story was more anecdotal by nature. And what I was saying, it's really more like 15 or 20 years of college basketball fans being essentially spoon-fed a narrative. And I don't necessarily agree with kind of the timing of everything. You know, before I got to Duke, there was articles written, "Oh, you're going to hate J.J. Redick." My senior year, as you know, the fall semester, there were articles being written about our team. You know, you're going to hate Greg Paulus. He's the next hated player. And then it was John Shire. And last year, as a freshman, Grayson didn't even play a lot. And I can remember reading stuff. Well, Grayson's going to be the next guy. Wait till next year. You're going to hate Grayson. And these are like smart, intelligent people writing these things. And I guess my issue is there's always been this kind of anti-Duke thing as long as I can remember, going back to when I was a Duke fan starting in 1992. And I think the reason I say it perpetuates is because the player receives this hate, receives this animosity, let's say, on the road as a freshman. For me, it was my first road game at Clemson as a freshman. And your response as a player is to either go cower in the corner or to fight. It's fight or flight. And for some guys, you know, that fight instinct can manifest in antics. Let's call them antics. For me, it was trash talking, head bobbing, smiling, grinning, whatever you want to call it. And then people jumped on me more, which caused me to, I guess, be an asshole more, and essentially the cycle perpetuates itself.
Is this the tail wagging the dog, though, that they hate you first and then you react to their vitriol?
Yeah, I think a little bit.
And you have to be good enough to be hated. Like there is a backhanded compliment in here, though, JJ.
No question. And I'm not complaining about. It's not a complaint necessarily. The reason I said anything to begin with, it was really to start a conversation and just give some perspective. And that's one of the things that, you know, I've tried to do on my podcast is kind of give a unique perspective, talk about things that maybe players, you know, don't talk about with the media. It's because I'm an active player, I can talk to another player and kind of ask questions that him not to get offended by it because he knows where I'm coming from. So that's one of the things I've tried to do on my podcast. So it's really just about kind of starting a conversation. The anti-Duke rhetoric exists, whatever. It's fine. I think that it's partly because of our success that we've had and Coach K's success that he's had over the past, 30 years or so.